Hey everyone, Chris Reeves with TRIARC Systems, and welcome to another episode of Shop Talk. And today we have Jake VanAllen from OSS Suppressors, and this is a follow-up to the suppressor video we did earlier, and we're gonna encourage and get some of the other manufacturers to come on to the shop and talk a little bit more in depth about the products that we showcased in the last video. When in regards to OSS Suppressors, you guys use what you call flow-through tech.
We do, yeah.
Okay.
You can kind of see a little bit of it here. So it's a lot different way for a suppressor to work as compared to traditional designs. So normally a suppressor, it's like in a simple way, it's a tube with kind of washers, chambers in a row with the hole down the center like a washer would be. So when you fire the weapon, as the projectile passes through, the gases that follow it are going to get trapped and stopped inside the body of the suppressor. So the way this one works is we don't trap and stop the gas, because when you stop it quickly, that's what causes the backup down in the bore line and back into your face and in the action. So inside, the way it works is a muzzle device sits in the base here. When you fire the rifle, the immediate highest pressure goes to the outside of the body and will pass through these 3 layers of coils, and then the remaining inside, as its lower pressure, is caught and put to the outside. So we're gradually slow the gas down instead of stopping it, so all the excess pressure goes out the front and around the outside.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense now. So instead of just impacting the gas impacting the baffles hard, it's just kind of you're slowing it down.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so when you look at some of the different muzzle devices we have, you can kind of see some of the swoops that are cut in there are designed to push a lot of gas out, and that's kind of
Interesting.
why it's a little larger diameter than some. It's shorter, but it's a larger diameter because it's trying to focus the gas to go to the outer parts of the body of the suppressor, so it can get through those layers of coils
Okay.
and slow it down. It's like the heating system in your house. When the heater's on, the back room's always colder because
Gotcha.
the heat vents. It's just
Takes a
making
while
more
for everything to
turns.
travel. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
It has a longer journey and
Okay.
turns more, so.
And that's
it
one
loses
thing.
heat.
Well, that's one thing we did notice is the obviously the reduced back pressure. So through aerial gunnery, also we for law enforcement demos and just when we've gone out hunting and just going out to the range day,
Yeah.
especially with taking the guns out to like an average show range day, all that stuff. There's a difference, and each can performs differently, and they all have their pluses and minuses. But that's one thing we noticed is with yours is that the back pressure was minimal.
Yeah,
And,
minimal or depending on barrel length, gas system, sometimes none.
True.
No increase it. They're
True.
shorter the gun, shorter the gas
Yeah.
system, the more you're going to
Well,
notice.
we learned this the hard way because we make those suppressed barrels, and so we use a smaller diameter port because some of the traditional baffle designs you'll get that back pressure, so we use a smaller diameter port to compensate, so we get less back pressure and you get less gas in your face. So we put on an OSS can and it wouldn't cycle. So
Yeah.
that shows that we weren't getting a lot of back pressure, which was interesting. And that this was probably a couple years ago, and it really took interest, and we started talking. And ever since then, like I just remember aerial gunnery is just someone just putting eight mags through one of the
Yeah.
cans just back to back, and it just held up. And then also traveling to the multiple gun runs, everything else like that, it just hung in because we've had other companies too. I mean, some of them just can't handle the heat or the pressure. So those
Yeah.
suppressors we brought up in the last video, those cans always seem to be the toughest and survive the most abuse that we put through it.
And see the highest round count on the weapon
Yeah.
too. You want it to make it to a certain point. Some of them have so much increase in how dirty they are.
Yeah.
And blowback.
Oh, yeah.
You have to clean them
True.
once or twice throughout the day too.
True, and that's some of the things we do is with MP3 coatings and stuff, because to compensate for that, because when they do get dirty, the coating helps keep the gun as far as operating reliably and stuff like that with the slicker surfaces. So one thing interesting about you guys is obviously you don't have traditional baffles using flow through technology, is the lockup. This was very interesting to me because it's very different from what we've seen. It's very different in the sense of, traditional other suppressors, they have some type of lock-in attachment, locks in or ratchet in, or you turn it on and have another kind of,
Yeah.
like everybody has something different.
Some
and they're
sort
all-
of secondary lock.
Exactly. So you guys haven't had that, and that it didn't worry me, but it interests me in the way you guys designed it. So after, like I said, just doing aero gunning and everything, nothing ever came loose.
Yeah.
So explain the magic.
So, everybody that's at OSS now, it's OSS bought the original company that was Operator Suppressor Systems.
Okay.
Used all the patents to kind of bring out what's out now.
Yeah.
And something like you're saying, it's more usable than what the old stuff
Okay.
was. So we wanted to have a mounting system that was simple
Okay.
because we were tired of complex from other reasons. Other things blend in. You want to is the lowest lowest amount of complexity as you can. So
True. That's parts
something-
breakage.
Yeah. And so we noticed that, well, something that a lot of people notice is 13 5x1 left-hand 9mm barrels. You don't have the same problems with cans coming loose as often as you do have 28.
Okay.
Part of that, well, I mean, the theory of
That's
that
interesting.
is it's most barrels are right-hand twist.
Okay.
So when you think about it, the threads are going at the opposite direction of the twist because they're flipped around from each other.
Gotcha.
So when you fire a 9mm that has 13 5.1 left hand, the inertia, the forces from the
Yeah.
projectile, they don't self-tighten, but they don't come loose.
True.
So we kind of started with that and keeping them left-hand thread
Okay.
just to keep them from coming loose.
Yeah.
But the way our system works with all the individual coils inside,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll see on the end here, the angle on these end caps where everything vents.
Yeah.
We're actually able to use the gases as the exit to
Okay.
self-tighten the system. So
Wow.
you still need to get it on there, but
Yeah.
if you don't get it quite all the way tight, it'll tighten up the last little bit.
Yeah.
And then it stays on there.
That's interesting.
Another reason we left it kind of left-hand
Yeah.
thread was as you remove the suppressor, you're tightening the mount. So as you're breaking carbon loose, it's a little
Yeah.
easier to break it loose because you're not trying to take the mount off with it. So if you get
Wow.
one high round count on
yeah.
it and looks like it's going to seize on, it's a lot easier to get it off
Yeah. And we've had to fix.
and not get stuck.
And we've had to fix, as far as weapons coming in through, customers or muzzle device installed improperly for a suppressor. That's another thing when they try to get it off, the device comes off. So that's a lot of thought. That's very interesting. And it works really well.
Yeah, a lot of
And-
thought,
yeah,
but just to
yeah.
keep it as simple as we could because
So
those
it's-
secondary locks fail.
Yeah,
here
I
and
mean,
there,
we've
so.
seen other companies where the locking mechanism. You got to remember how the muzzle device material is made differently from the locking mechanism. If one's still harder than the other, then over time that's going to wear. So that's one thing that we've seen, in this journey of test and evaluation, or just shooting a lot of firearms, and but it's almost interesting. It's like how using the gas to operate the weapon system, using the gas to keep the can tight. So that's amazing. And we haven't had one not get stuck. I mean, we just go in there.
The only time we
break
see them
it.
get stuck is there's some guys that'll forget it's left-hand thread and really
Yeah, it's really
gorilla it on there.
Really ham on there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Lay on it, but
it's kind of good. I mean, I'm glad you, on the other
yeah,
ones, yeah,
it's-
we laser the lock and the unlock.
yeah, it's been marine proofed.
So
Yeah. So
nice. Okay, so another thing too, and that's one thing we kind of dive into, like a lot of suppressors we use here, and even other brands. We find out that certain models kind of find a sweet spot with barrel lengths. We've known this obviously with short barrels. It's a whole different world. Longer range barrels, everything's always a little bit different. So one thing we've been shooting a lot is the 12.5 mid with the OSS can. I mentioned that in the previous video, and we're gonna do some more shooting with it here tomorrow. But man, it's the sweet spot. I mean, it's amazing. You get good velocity out of the 12.5 barrel, good balance out of the suppressors when they're titanium cans, and with the reduced with the reduced back pressure, it just feels super. I mean, it feels
yeah,
amazing.
like you can compare it to a 10.5.
Yeah.
And we measure blowback on a high-speed camera. So we'll put some dots on the bolt carrier
Yeah.
and on the receiver, and then measure it on a high speed and see the
Interesting.
increase in speed.
Yeah.
So a baffle suppressor, without doing anything to the rifle, no adjustable gas blocks or changing buffers, you can see anywhere from 20 to 35% increase in bolt
Wow.
velocity. So that's why you notice more recoil.
Yeah,
And
oh,
that's,
yeah.
I mean, that's how much more pressure it's putting
Yeah.
on the system. So, like a pistol length gas system on a 7.5 or 8.5,
Yeah.
there's going to be more back pressure to it. We
Yeah.
see about 5 or 6% increase.
Yeah.
Carbine gas system on a 10.5 is about 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And then as you get to 11.5, it's a little shorter. But when you get into a mid length on a 12.5 and
Yeah.
longer, there's enough delay in the bolt opening that the amount of increase on bolt velocity is hard to measure.
And
The difference in it.
and you brought up a good point right there, and that's the thing as far as like measuring the speed. And so I remember using a high-speed camera a lot to try different spring weights and things like that, and seeing how
Yeah.
fast stuff travels. And it's very interesting because some barrel lengths and some suppressors, I mean, it's really knocking that bolt back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fast.
Hard. I mean,
Yeah.
buffers wearing out.
Oh, buffers wearing out.
pretty quick.
Your buffer could mushroom out. one of these days, I got an old parts bin of like broken parts and stuff like that. I got to bring that out one day and kind of dig into that and show people, because a majority of that time was from like wear and tear from a lot of overgassing.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
was
and
the
that's,
majority of
everything
parts
you do
breakage.
to them really reduces that
Yeah.
greatly. It doesn't get rid of all of it, but it depends on what you're going for. I mean, you
Yeah.
kind of have to pick what your ultimate goal is. But
Gotcha.
when you start getting I've been using this 12.5 mid-length for quite a while.
Yeah.
And you look at it for,
You got some nice glass on there too.
yeah, that new 1 to
That new
10 razors.
Well, might as well dive into this rifle real quick, because yes, gosh, this is a great. It's in the Cerakote or FDE. Typically, we just call it peanut butter around here. It's kind of grown legs, so we just stick with that. But SBA3 tactical brace. Got a law folder on this. The TRIARC 11.5-inch rail. Nice little OSS logo on the side. Has our enhanced trigger, Radian 45-degree short throw safety, and the charting handle. And of course, your nice Vortex 1 to 10. And here we have the titanium 556 Helix.
Yeah, and this one, it's going to be coming out right about the same time as this video.
Yeah, so something new to the suppressor here is obviously
Yep, the end cap there.
the end cap.
So, it's going to be coming out on 556 models,
Okay.
early July.
Awesome.
So, a couple reasons we did this. There's only so much volume the suppressor can hold. And so under more rapid fire or on select fire guns, you're going to have a buildup of unburned powder.
Yeah,
and
true.
so every third to fifth round, when they're shooting them really fast, sometimes you might, with the older style, you'd see a reignition or
Yeah.
a flash of
Okay.
everything out front.
Okay.
And so these add 1/8 of an inch to length overall. Weight's going to stay almost the same. I think it was less than half an ounce.
Okay.
But we've shielded the bore line, so the secondary ignition source, so there's significantly less flash. So you can put the 556K on
Yeah.
a Mark 18 on a 10.3 barrel and shoot XM193 through it, and that's the flashy,
yeah,
dirty
it's the
stuff.
flashiest, dirtiest
So it'll have
ammo.
less flash than
Yeah.
like the Magnum tie, the 338 can,
That's something I
which
noticed
is
too.
this length
So remember,
on the same gun. Yeah.
I'm sure you remember November, Savannah last year, Big Daddy Unlimited, and that cold weather. And I just remember a lot of,
There's a lot of oxygen in the cold weather. Isn't it?
I mean, but I just down the line, but we were shooting a full auto 10.5 suppressed with their standard 5.56 Helix. And I just, even shooting an XM193, I really didn't notice any flash. So,
And
I mean, it
it's-
does a great job of it.
And that's generally on a higher round count.
Yeah.
When you start seeing 4,000 or 5,000 rounds
Okay.
in them and haven't cleaned them,
Yeah.
it's a little more buildup, a little quicker, and a lot of it has to do with heat. It
Yeah.
depends on, you're not beating the crap out of it like some
Yeah.
people do, but you'll see some durability tests where they really overdo it more than what people are going to shoot their personal guns. But this is a way to greatly reduce that. So, I mean, the biggest reason was for law enforcement.
Yeah.
Like you said, you didn't notice it much.
Yeah.
But if you're at low light or
Confined
night vision
spaces,
training,
yeah.
confined spaces, this won't make your, PBS 14 stays on. It doesn't gate with that
Okay,
where it would
nice.
before.
Yeah,
So.
okay.
So you can use XM193 to train with and practice, because duty ammo is usually going to be low flash.
Oh, yeah, no,
You're
it's
not going
very-
to see much of a difference, but
Yeah.
it's that practice ammo. It makes a big difference, reduction in flash. And then we're going to have the 5.56 full size in a titanium version.
Okay.
So it goes from 17.5 ounces down to just barely under 13.
Okay.
Or right at 13 ounces. So something we do on our titanium suppressors is, the whole length from where the muzzle ends to the end right before the cap. About a 1/2 inch diameter is actually 17.4 stainless. So a lot
Nice.
of titanium silencers have mad sparks coming out
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
when you fire it. So these, you might get a couple here and there, but it's nothing like most titanium suppressors
that's
are.
good.
There's other options. You can do some new style coatings to help reduce that,
Yeah.
but trying to keep the cost down.
Stealth coating?
Yeah.
Nah, joking. So another thing that, just to dive back into the back pressure and, how certain barrel lengths and certain cans perform really well. So one thing about this, one of their suppressors, their 7.62 suppressor, and any of you web manufacturers, gunsmiths, even builders out there building AR-10s, I'm going to tell you right now, AR-10s can be a nightmare. The pressures are so high with 308. There's not a lot of parts commonality. A lot of manufacturers don't play,
Yeah,
together.
really
So it's not,
finicky.
it's not like plug and play like an AR-15. And you start messing with the pressure, and even one notch from an adjustable gas block can change everything. And it's nightmare. We have a term for that kind of stuff out
Yeah.
here. But one thing we've noticed, obviously, having the reduced back pressure in the 7.62 can has been amazing, because now we can tune an AR-10 to shoot reliably, in the sense, like, not that we couldn't, it just took more time, because you really got to
a lot
find
more
that sweet
fiddling
spot.
with it.
But
Well, then they
this one,
switch ammunition and
yeah,
they're all
yeah,
over
yeah,
again.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. You switch ammunition, and it's all over the place again. So that's one thing I really liked about the 7.62. You throw in an AR-10, and it was easier to tune, less finicky when you're suppressed. So just keep that in mind. It works really well.
Well, we're on CSAS and SDMR.
Yeah, well,
because
that's
of
right.
that, just how
Yeah.
reliable the gun was, and they don't need an adjustable gas block. They're just able to run 118
Sure.
LR and M80 ball. Just
Wow.
run in the same gun.
Yeah.
And a 16-inch 308, you don't see that too
No.
often. It's a big change.
No, big time,
Put others
because I
on,
remember
so.
tuning guns, the same thing with the M118 LR, and you can get it shooting smooth, and then throw in some Winchester and white box,
Yeah.
M80 ball, and next thing you know, it's all over the place.
Yeah, short
So,
strokes and
Man,
everything
I didn't
all
want to
over
go
the
into.
place.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
go into.
Yeah.
This is straight up nightmares. So, but it saved me a lot of time, and I enjoyed working with those cans. So another thing I want to tap on about OSS is they also have a T&E program for law enforcement, and they've helped us out in that sense when we have demos that we show up to. They've been very supportive in the sense of letting us T&E cans, shipping us cans to show, and other departments, and just show the advantages. Because like I said, we show up with multiple brands of suppressors, and obviously we discuss the pros and cons of everyone, but we let the end user decide, because ultimately they're the ones who be running it. But they've been very supportive in that sense. Like, it's not like, oh, just show our cans or nothing. They'll stack them against it. That's the one thing I like. It's just like, they don't care what other
You have to
brands
try
have.
it.
Yeah.
We can tell you all we want here,
Yeah.
but we're salesmen.
Yeah,
you got to use it
you gotta show
yourself,
it, yeah.
'cause who knows what we're saying. But it's, I don't know. And we have a big presence with law enforcement. A lot of it is just the reliability, where you can take a gun off the shelf, like
Yeah.
this one is what we did, and it's tuned to run as is with no suppressor, and put it on, and it runs
Yeah.
basically the same
Yeah.
suppressor on as it does off. So there's some other guys in the industry, another OEM that says the gun doesn't know it's wearing a can. Is kind of how they like to look at it, especially
Yeah.
when you get into this 12.5. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think this setup for me is kind of the closest I've been able to get for a dual AR.
Oh,
where it's
it's
short
yeah.
enough for confined spaces.
Yeah.
Its velocities and everything are right there with 14.5 and 16-inch barrels with some other manufacturers. So you can use a DMR or Overwatch roll. It kind of fits it all in a package.
I appreciate
A lot
that.
smaller.
That's kind of was the objective of the 12.5 mid, and also to touch upon that too. It's just that with the track rifling, you maintain tighter pressures with the bore, so we were able to run the mid length on the 12-inch barrel reliably, and you brought it right in the sense of trying to tame the back pressure, because we did the same thing with the barrels, with the gas port sizes. Selling to an LA agency, they might have cans already in inventory, so we try to keep our gas ports tuned a little bit more on the small side, so when they do put over suppressor, we counteracts a lot more overgassing. But it just seems that you guys on the can side were just putting on a gun to where, hey, whatever, if they have a old rifle overgas, a lot of port erosion, they can throw the can on, and it's not going to
That big increase.
contribute to that. Yeah,
30%, 25 to 30% increase is a lot. and
no,
that
it's
can
huge.
Cause some issues, where this way, if they don't have the budget for the silencers right away, they can get the mount on their guns, and as they get time, they don't have to send it back in to
Yeah.
barrel swap or anything different on it to get it to run the way they want.
Well, awesome. Yeah, now we got some fun tomorrow. For sure, we got some rifles to show tomorrow, and also, so I want to run real quick through the product line. Obviously, you got the 5.56s here, and 7.62.
7.62. We do 7.62 tie, rad 22.
Rad 22 right there. And then this one is just your standard 5.56.
Yep, that's the 5.56 without flash cap. So by the time you guys all see this, that's what's going to be out. It'll look just like this 5.56 tie, just in stainless.
Yeah, that's the ones we've been running on our demos. You can see in the back. I mean, we're running them a lot of round counts, and obviously, you guys painted some right
Yeah,
here.
EL.
Tan.
So that's what's on CSAS. It's more of a
Okay.
sand color than an FDE. It's It's just the QD 762 stainless in a tan version, but
Yeah.
we engrave them a little different for contracts. But you can get the tan one if you want. You know, we can send them raw like this.
Yeah, I can't wait to
to
coat
you,
some
so
of
you
these.
can
Yeah, I can't wait to coat some
Have
of
them
these.
match in peanut butter or whatever you need to do.
Yeah, maybe make a camo pattern on this thing. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. There we go.
Magnum tie. Well, sorry, the Magnum tie is the same length. It's actually this diameter. This one, by the time this comes out, it'll be renamed the EL-QDR.
Okay.
ELR, it was named, a guy that's no longer with us, the 338 tie.
Gotcha.
Came from a development project on a 338 Norma that was a lot higher
Okay.
round volume, and from a belt-fed development. So
Oh, wow.
we made it in titanium.
Okay.
So the volume was crazy high, well, a lot higher than what we needed for 338
Gotcha.
Lapua or
Okay.
Norma. So it actually goes up to 408 Chi-Tac. So
Wow.
that's why it's going to get a different name. Because we don't want it confusing, because the mount's a little different, a little
Okay.
bigger. So you can use that on precision stuff. I know that's not a lot like what you guys do, but if you want something low 130 dB that still has flow through.
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
we've been like
yeah.
kicking this bolt gun thing down the road with over
Yeah.
here. All this stuff hitting right
Yeah.
now. We've been Tina's been hard to do, but hopefully one day we can get up to it because you know that's one thing we've been trying to do is expand the track rifling into
Mm-hmm.
other calibers. So hopefully we can get as big as that 338 right there. That'd be pretty nice. So another touch on the T&E program too is what type of mission you want the can for, in the sense like what's your mission spec? It's going to be you know, for a DMR role, or if you're going to you know, mainly focus on you know, CQB style entry. It's just what do you want the can to do in that regards? You know, as far as, and one thing as far, you know, signature reduction, reducing the custom blast to yourself or to your teammates
Need
next to
certain
you.
overall length.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, overall length. Yeah, that's a big one too, and also you know, the weight at the end of the muzzle, too. That's a big thing, because it's going to change a lot. It's going to change the how you move the gun. So it's just a lot of things. You know, the T&E program helps with agencies, just kind of let you get that feel for each suppressor in the sense, and also for your mission set.
So we say use it, especially on the law enforcement side.
Yeah.
Don't just grab one, shoot a few mags through it, and
Yeah.
buy it. You need to put 500 or 600 rounds through it,
Yeah.
use it, and see what you want. I mean, when you get into the K, there's a lot of law enforcement departments using the K. It's meant to be anybody's K, ours
Yeah.
or anyone else's. It's meant to be the shortest overall version you could get
True.
away with and still be usable. So
Yeah.
if you have comms on almost all the time, you're probably fine with the K. You're
Yeah.
worried about bumping your ears, using it in a vehicle or
Yeah.
stacked in a hallway and bump your ears and just get them back on. It's fine on a 10-inch, 11-inch gun.
Yeah.
But generally we see them go more to patrol application, or it's
Yeah.
14.5 and 16-inch guns, so they can keep them short enough to fit in a rifle rack.
Yeah, less weight at the end of it.
You know, yeah, but then you get into the 5.56 tie, that solves your weight problem.
True.
On the end, it's actually 2 ounces lighter than the stainless version of the K. But when you get into full size, you know, you look at a 10.5 or 11.5-inch gun, you can be 5 to 7 decibels quieter, just
Yeah.
in 3/4 of an inch more length on your suppressor. So, you know, you look at Arizona, they've got a lot of incidents where they've had to use rifles in vehicles.
Yeah.
And, you know, that can make a big difference.
Oh, big
when you're stacked
difference.
up. The
Big difference.
overpressure.
Yeah, overpressure, everything. It makes a huge difference. And that's other people, your expectations. I know, you know, a lot of brands will make a short can and stuff like that, but just remember, the can's short, it's going to be louder than full-size cans. And that's just,
Don't expect
Yeah,
an
don't expect
11.5
it,
or
yeah.
10.5 with a K to be below 140.
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
shooter's
That's the-
ear.
that's
It's
the
just
whole
not
thing.
what it's meant for.
it's not, but
Yeah.
the trade-off to that, obviously, is the reduced back pressure. That's what we spoke about in the last video. I mean, it's not going to be super quiet. It's going to reduce concussive blast and do what it needs to do, but you're not going to get a lot of blowback. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And another thing too, now transition of the commercial side, what's some of the things you've seen, like first time somebody out there hasn't bought a suppressor yet, then watching these videos and trying to make a decision. Hopefully we're helping you in that aspect.
Well-
But what would you recommend for a first-time buyer,
Like,
what
if
you've
you're-
seen?
If you think you're going to go 5.56 for your first can, you know, we usually see most first-time buyers buy a 30 cal suppressor,
Yeah.
so they can use it on a lot of different guns. 7.62 tie is actually really popular. It's light.
Yeah.
And it still works on a lot of different stuff. It's what would be an S body size, so
Okay.
not full size, not K in a 30 cal. You know, it's real similar to the Sandman S lengthwise,
Yeah.
weight-wise. and sound. It works on a lot of stuff. You know, when you get into the 5.56, you know, if sound reduction's more what you're looking for, the full-size 5.56 is, you know, it's
Yeah.
still gonna have the same, no increase in back pressure, but you'll notice a difference in sound reduction. You know, a first-time buyer usually buys a 30 cal or a rimfire.
Yeah.
Their second can's usually whichever one they didn't buy the first time.
Yeah.
And then their third, they start getting into 5.56
Yeah.
and pistol stuff generally.
Yeah,
Or
we see
big
that.
bores.
We see that during a lot because once we tell them you could shoot, you know, anything under 30 cal into that, they're obviously they're game on for
Yeah.
that. But then they get hooked and then they're back for more. So
Yeah, when there's some states you'll see 10 or 12 7.62s for every one 5.56 commercially.
Yeah.
Just because it works on everything. You can tell when there's another round of people that are getting their second, third, fourth suppressor.
Gotcha.
That when you see more 5.56 go. Texas, we see a lot more 5.56 go around.
Okay. Well, that's my favorite one.
Hardliners.
Yeah, that's my favorite right there. Full size right there. But well, awesome. Well, Jake, appreciate you coming to the
Yeah,
shop.
no problem.
They've been very supportive of TRIARC in that sense. I just want to let you guys know that as far as demos, a lot of these other companies have been very supportive too. But we appreciate you coming,
Yeah.
doing this video, taking time out of your busy day. Looking forward to getting some shooting done tomorrow. It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. And appreciate everyone watching these videos. Also, greatly appreciate the support. Can't thank you guys enough for obviously supporting TRIARC, all the other great stuff, supporting the Second Amendment, and get yourself a suppressor. You're in a state that that you can have them, get one. I mean,
and once you use one,
once you use
you're
one,
not
and,
buying just
and we
one,
understand
yeah.
it's a process, but once you have it, you have it. And those of you who are, you know, behind enemy lines, feel for you. You know, I'm a political refugee, you know, so in the sense of where I grew up, the state I grew up in, but moved out here to Texas, and I'm having a great time. So, you know, wonderful
Yeah.
state. So,
Yeah, problem. Well, like law enforcement, like we say, just if you want to try one, ask TRIARC, ask LE dealer or us.
Yeah.
We'll send out a T&E.
I
Try
appreciate
to
it,
use
yeah.
Any of that.
yeah, come see us, and we got the whole product line. So, well,
All right.
appreciate it, brother.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.